time. Alrighty, y'all. I am happy to welcome our hosts for the evening, Kath, Barbadoro, and Anders Lee. Comrades, give it up for our hosts. Come on, a little more.
Hello! Folks! Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we're about to start a comedy show! Hell yeah! Come on in, sit down, stop talking. Kind of the big one, kind of the main one. Yeah, welcome. My name is Kath Barbadoro. This is my co-host.
Anders Lee here.
Anders Lee. We run a monthly fundraiser show for New York City DSA working groups called Paid Protest. Get it? And we're here to do comedy for you guys. Is that exciting? Yeah. Clap if you're a DSA delegate.
Everybody DSA delegate? All right. Now make some noise if you are a Fed who was sent here to infiltrate DSA. Everybody okay?
Wow.
You have to answer.
Outnumbering the delegates this year. We must be important.
Yeah. They have to answer legally.
Okay, make some noise if you're a journalist here to write a hit piece about the woke mind virus, huh?
Couple people.
Very
right.
Cool.
And make some noise if you are all four of those things. Statistically, that is many of you. Folks, we just want to do some housekeeping at the top of the show and some ground rules, right? This is a wonderful place and event, but, you know, if people could not talk during the show, that would be very helpful.
Again, really the big one. Really the big one. Don't know what's going on in the back corner, but it seems very exciting.
Yes.
Okay,
there's a
dispersing.
great bar area for talking. And we have some other ground rules. Thank you.
Give it up for that person. Yeah. Apparently their voice is louder than our microphones. That is incredible. You must have disproportionate sway on the floor of this convention, just volume-wise. Anyway, Anders, as you were saying.
Yes, so that is one ground rule, is please don't talk to the performers unless they talk to you. If we interact with you, that's cool. But there's some other ground rules that I just want to lay down, because people might think, oh, it's a comedy show, all we have to do is laugh. But it's the DSA convention comedy show, so there's a little more to it than that this time. First of all, there are two ways to express approval for jokes that we are going to agree upon collectively. We want to be democratic about that. The first way is to wait till the end of the show and keep a check in your mind of each joke and how much you like it. Then once the show has commenced, you laugh one by one with varying degrees of intensity on the jokes, and do them all in a row. That's way number one.
Option
Option number two is after each joke, we will get a quorum to decide if the majority of the room likes the joke. We need a 50% plus one show of hands before we collectively decide to laugh at the joke. Now we're going to decide. I think we're going to take a vote on which of those options we like better. We have two ways of voting. Also, there is single transfer voting.
Sure.
And there's another way that we can do.
I feel like you're prompting me, but I'm stupid and don't know.
This is where you're supposed to cut me off and say, no, we're just going to do a normal comedy show.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're just going to do a normal comedy show. I did not prep for this. I feel like it was troublingly far into that people realized you were kidding. Like, there was a moment of real unease.
People have had a day, I think. I could sense it.
We're not going to do that. You're just going to laugh at the jokes. And if you don't like the jokes, you can just not laugh. But yeah, don't heckle. Be nice. Thank you so much for coming. And before we start the comedy, we do have a special guest who's going to tell us a little bit about why we're all here. Please welcome from North Jersey, DSA, Jorge Maldonado! Woo!
All right, how are we doing tonight? So we had our first official day of voting today. First day of debates, right? We had people speaking on different sides, and things were confusing, complicated, but I'm pretty excited. We're making this happen right now, right? At this moment here, we have hundreds of delegates from across the country here to democratically decide the future of this organization. How do we feel about that? So I'm here right now from Jersey. First of all, any Jersey people here? Raise your hand. Oh, woo! Whoa, wait a minute. That's not right. So I'm here because I want to talk a little bit about what it's going to take to continue building up the work that we're doing here and the work that a lot of us have committed over the last few years and a lot of the work that we're going to commit for many years to come right now. It's about how are we going to grow and fund DSA to make it the type of organization that we want it to have. I talked a little bit about how messy democracy can be, how tense it can be, but in order to address the collective issues that are incumbent on capitalism, in order to collectively come up with the kind of power and resources to win, we need to do this democratically and we need to do it together. And that's what DSA as an institution continues to offer so many of us. It's one of the few places right now where we collectively can decide what the priorities are going to be and how we can use the power of the working class, the power that everybody brings here to change and solve many of the issues that we're facing right now. So again, DSA is filled with contradictions and complications, but I'm so proud to have met so many people here who are committed in different ways to building a better world, to winning socialism. To talk a little bit about and to showcase, I think, the kinds of things that DSA provides, I'm just going to share a little bit about my own time in DSA. My first ever DSA meeting was back in 2016 when I went to a YDSA conference. At the time, I didn't have any money. I wasn't sure if a democratic socialist organization was for me, but because of one brilliant organizer, I'm going to name him, his name is Neil Meyer, he paid for my registration so I can go and attend, and I'm so thankful because during the time, this was right before Trump got elected, where I was so confused about how to handle the sort of issues I'd seen in my own life, in my community, and in the world. I got to learn about labor organizing. I got to learn about mass politics through campaigns, through elections, internationalism, right? Political education, thinkers and writers who have been thinking about this for years. And that just hooked me from there. That led me to go to my first ever Jacobin event, where I met a Unite Here organizer that got me to SALT at an airline catering facility. I got to organize my first shop of nearly 1,000 workers in a 5-kitchen national campaign that then led me, I got hooked. I was like, I want to keep on doing this. I worked as a cafeteria worker in a small company called Google in Manhattan. I'm not the one doing the jokes here, so you don't have to laugh. But and from there, I got this experience through and was able to navigate the challenges because of the comrades I had met in DSA, and that confidence carried over when I became chair of my chapter in North New Jersey, where I got this valuable experience. How do you run an organization? How do you develop members? How do you build leaders? How do you decide democratically on campaigns? After that, we ran one of our first electoral campaigns to elect Joel Brooks, who ran for city council in Ward B of Jersey City. We came within 3 points of winning, but we were proud to have run an openly democratic socialist candidate in an ecosystem that was lacking any sort of left pole. And since then, DSA has become a force that was just recently able to pass right to council unanimously in city council a few months back ago. been on the GDC, where I learned from some of the most brilliant organizers, from everything from how to run serious membership campaigns, dues renewals, figuring out spreadsheets and Excel and just the many intricacies of national campaign work. And now I'm currently a nurse organizer, and because of our organization's commitment to the rank and file strategy, I'm prepared now to go into nursing school so I can be within the rank and file, fighting for healthcare justice and fighting to change our world, right? I am just one of the many people, the thousands, and that we have been a part of in the stories of how this organization has trained us, has given us opportunities, has given us education, and how we are then able to internalize that and ideally bring back what we learned here, introduce it to the thousands, hundreds of thousands, the millions of working class people and beyond, bringing them into the organization and doing a feedback loop until we win the world that we think we deserve. What do we think about that? So in order to make that possible, right, it takes our people power, right, but it also takes, it takes money, right? It takes member funds to make this possible. So right now, we heard a little bit about why it's so powerful, why it's so great to be in this DSA. We're gonna get way more opportunities throughout the weekend, but one way that we are looking right now to fund this organization is by getting as many people here to become monthly sustained donors. In the face of some of the challenges that we need to do, that we are facing, we need to make sure that we are sustaining this organization for the long term. So one of the big asks that we're asking people here is not just to become a monthly donor to DSA, but to ideally, right, if we want to beat the 99%, to beat the 1%, right? As the 99%, we need to see to have people donate 1% of their salary to be able to become monthly donors. So that is one ask that we're asking. It's a big ask, but we think if there's people who are able to, who have the opportunity, we would really like to see that. And we also have one special donor out there who is prepared that if we are able to get up to $6,000 of recurring dues, that they will match that $6,000 throughout the weekend. So how can you switch to become a monthly donor or recurring donor? Everybody here should have some bracelets right now. That bracelet has a QR code. At any time, throughout tonight, throughout the weekend, you can scan this QR code and you will be able to either switch to become a monthly or yearly donor, or you can just give any type of amount. In addition, we're gonna have people going around with some type of bucket. Oh, there we go, buckets, yes. We're gonna be going around with buckets where people can also just donate money, can buy tickets and beyond. So be on the lookout for them as a way to sustain us. And finally, right outside, there's gonna be a silent auction. And anyone can participate in this silent auction to win a 1 week fully paid, well not fully, I was told it's actually just the trip itself, food and boarding, you have to go on your own, trip to the Berkshires, So please, if you're interested in that, there's gonna be a silent auction outside for people to be able to do that. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much everybody for continuing to be the class warriors that you all are and for building the kind of world that we want to see tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Give it up for her, everybody! Hello. And give it up for Emma, who put this all together, who will now lower the lights and make this a comedy zone. Maybe lower the lights. We'll see. If you all wish it hard enough. It's like Tinkerbell, but the opposite. It makes the lights go out. There we go, okay. Hell yeah. Hi everybody, remember me? I'm Kath Barbadoro. I'm one of your hosts this evening for the comedy part of the show. And yeah, you'll see my co-host Anders Lee come up later. We have some wonderful comics on the show for you tonight. I do kind of want to clear the air right off the bat. How mad are all of you guys at each other right now? It's good? Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. You're all, okay. All right, I'm so glad we did this on day one of the convention and not at the end. I feel like the vibes would perhaps be different. But no, scale of 1 to 10. Are you like a 1? Are you like a 7? Okay, scale 1 to 10, 10 being you're mad at each other.
We got
Ahead of schedule? Oh my God, give yourselves a round of applause for that. That is incredible. I also need to clear the air about one more thing. Who was booing New Jersey? Do you live there? I feel like even money, someone booing New Jersey lives in New Jersey. I love New Jersey. I think like all of the best contemporary American art comes from New Jersey. And by that I mean Bruce Springsteen and The Sopranos. That's the best we have as Americans. But I think the reason that people in New Jersey make the best art about America is because New Jersey is like the USA of America. It has people of every race from all over the world, and everyone else is racist. It's just like America. And I think the best way to think about how other countries feel about the US is to think about how we feel about New Jersey. Like imagine if New Jersey set up military bases in your hometown to spread their culture. I feel like that's what's going on in the world. I live in New York City, and I used to live in the Midwest, and I feel like my friends were super supportive of me moving. They were like, Kath, New York City is perfect for you. You're gonna love it there. It's amazing. I was really nervous. They were so reassuring. But what I realized after I moved to New York is that's what people from other places say when they find you very unpleasant. Oh, you're moving to New York? Great. You talk very loud. Very close to my face. That's what that means. You're very angry all the time. That's what it is. But they're right. I love it there, and it's because I'm an asshole. I feel like the rest of the country should be very grateful to New York City because we take all of the most unpleasant people from across the country and we put them on an island and charge them thousands of dollars to stay alive. It's really a penal colony for badly adjusted people. It's great. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think I'm probably in good company. Not a huge fan of America. Feel like, generally speaking, this is my audience for that. There are some things I like about America, though. Bruce Springsteen, The Sopranos, as I said. There's something else about America that I think we do better than any other country on earth, and I love it. And that thing is air conditioning. Oh my God. Have you been to another country? They do not have it figured out. We have air conditioning on lock. Americans love air conditioning. When we walk into a place and it feels like a walk-in freezer, we know someone's in charge, you know? Like, I was in an airport in another country and it was like 80 degrees, and I was like, I don't think these planes are getting off the ground. I don't feel comfortable here. Because like, when the AC is blasting, I know that whoever is in charge has decided that my personal comfort is more important than the continued existence of this planet. And that's the kind of customer service I'm looking for. I know, it's bad. Like, I know, I am one of you. I am a DSA member. I think climate change is real. It's horrible. We need to stop it. I want a socialist in the White House. However, I would not argue with a fascist at the thermostat. That is one thing I kind of agree with them on. Like, the less I agree with your politics, the more I want to visit your house in July, you know? It's my common ground. Yeah, I live in New York and I'm 35 years old and I'm single. They've made some TV shows about it, I'm sure you're aware. of what that's like. My problem with dating is my standards are too high. Like, I want to date someone so much better looking than me that they write an article about us in the New York Post. That's what I want. I want to date someone so much more attractive than me that we go viral on TikTok and no one is allowed to say why, you know? That's what I'm looking for. That's not really true. It's not that my standards are too high. It's that what I'm looking for and what's out there are like not gelling, you know? Like, I'm one of you, I'm a socialist, I want to date somebody who shares my political beliefs, you know, a leftist, but I am not polyamorous, so that cuts out all of you. Get tested after this weekend, guys. This hotel is gonna be just... I hope you brought earplugs. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Absolutely okay. I love the ethically non-monogamous, but as far as I'm concerned, ENM stands for, not for me, you know? So that's a problem. And then another problem, I don't have like a specific physical type that I'm like specifically into, but I do really like men with long hair. But I don't want to date someone with more than 3 roommates. So that's a problem. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and I was like, I don't understand, like, these don't seem like super impossible qualifications for a partner. And she was like, let me put this together for you. You're looking for a leftist, egalitarian, progressive, long-haired man who believes in monogamy. And I was like, that shouldn't be so hard. I don't see why that's so unattainable. And she was like, you just described Jesus Christ. They would write an article about that in the New York Post, so I think that counts. Guys, are you ready for your first comedian of the evening? He is a Chicago comedian. He writes for The Onion. Please give it up for the very funny Arish Singh!
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? DSA members, I'm a DSA member, Chicago DSA. My Chicago DSA people, Chicago DSA, great to see you all out here. I'm very proud of Chicago DSA. A lot of achievements they've made. We have the Socialist Caucus here in our city of alder persons, or as I prefer the term, persons of alder. Taking on the Chicago machine, the infamous Chicago machine. I prefer to call it the Windy City Voltron, but to each their own. I'm very proud to be from Chicago. I'm not a native of Chicago, though. I do come from a strange foreign land with bizarre customs. I'm from Iowa. Any Iowans out here? Cool, Iowa people. Keeping it on the low, I respect that. Iowa is an interesting place. It's a place where you can have a pound of gelatin with a slice of orange suspended in it, and then another pound of whipped cream on the top, and call that a Jell-O salad. A salad. It's a very, very interesting place. I grew up in Iowa. It was an interesting place to grow up. I had a formative experience in the 2nd grade where I really, first time I was making friends, and I was invited over to a sleepover to watch this film, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You may be familiar with it. Indiana Jones is, this is a year for Indiana Jones, big year. The film began with the Ark melting those faces, and now you get to see Harrison Ford's melted face, so it's a good full circle. I like that. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was a little bit hard for me. It focuses on India, brought a lot of peer group questions to me, questions like, do you eat rats? Do you eat snakes? Do you eat monkey brains? A lot of interesting depictions in this film. They're the Indian thuggies, they're the villains, they're doing all these things. I think the hardest question for me to answer was, I was living with my uncle at the time. He was the first person in my family to come to this country. And they were all asking me, can your uncle rip hearts out of people? And your uncle rips hearts out of people, because in this movie, you may be familiar, there's a famous scene with the thuggy priest, and he just rips a heart right out of a man. Kalima Shakti De, Kalima Shakti De. He just rips the heart right out of the man. And they're all asking me this question, and I'm trying to play it as low-key as possible. The only brown kid among all these white kids. I think the hardest part for me was my uncle was a cardiovascular surgeon specializing in heart transplants. And the second grade isn't the time for nuance necessarily. It's a little, it's tough, right? Got teased a lot growing up. I get teased with the whole Apu accent. They'd all ask, does your dad speak like Apu? Does your dad talk like this, Then I get that a lot. And that would really get in my nerves because India's a big place. It's a billion people in this place that's a third the size of Europe, but 3 times the population. And there's no one area that has one accent, it's all these diverse accents. And my dad wouldn't talk to me that way. He wouldn't sit me down after school and be like, Arish, are you doing very well in the school? Are you making friends? He wouldn't talk to me like that. He would talk to me in a Punjabi accent from Punjab, where we're from. He would sit me down and he'd say, hey Arish, how are you doing? You doing real well? You making a lot of friends in that school? Any of your friends, do they ever make like a stereotypical accent of me? Arish, it hurts my heart when they make a stereotypical accent of me. If you're offended by that, you can blame the Mario Brothers. That's seems to be an official accent for that movie. Also, a conspiracy I'd like to start is if anybody wants to start saying that the Mario Brothers are an allegory for Sacco and Vanzetti, I think that would be a really good seed for our movement in general to plant. But I grew up in Iowa. It was a little difficult. I'm Sikh by background. Hey, what's up? I would get a lot of people would confuse me for Muslim. That's fine. I'm not offended by that. I love diversity. In fact, I would get a little mad why no one would ever ask whether or not I'm Amish. I think I could have passed for Mennonite. But it wasn't something that bothered me. But I've gone back. I do comedy in the Midwest. I do Iowa, Minneapolis, a lot of these areas. And sometimes I'll get heckled by people, and it has to do with Islam. I got heckled recently by a guy yelling Allahu Akbar at me. And then he immediately after wanted to know what Allahu Akbar means. He's an inquisitive racist, so it was interesting. And I was kind of puzzled for a second, and then it kind of hit me. Basically, Allahu Akbar is your pickle Rick, right? I think that kind of captures it, right? I'm not, I am religious. I know that can be a little bit difficult for some people who are Marxist, opium of the masses. But I like to take the perspective that I'm a flesh prison abolitionist. I think that's the way I'm coming at it from. And I know Marx didn't mean opium of the masses. He wasn't trying to say religion was bad. I'm familiar with that. He was trying to say opium is cool, so I understand that too. Opium's kind of cool. I think fentanyl is even kind of cool. I know that's a controversial statement, but just throw a little powder at a cop and say it's fentanyl and just watch him dance. That is a good time. That's a solid Friday night. I'm saying that's a really good time. I'm not, I'm pretty open-minded about things. I'm not sure how I feel about the afterlife necessarily. A lot of people believe in ironic hells. I like to believe in if there might be an ironic heaven. I think that could be a possibility. There's a land of milk and honey for us out there, but it's only for the diabetic and lactose intolerant, right? I think that could be a possibility. I'm more interested in, Heaven Here on Earth. That's been a socialist rally for a long time, right? Heaven Here on Earth. Fantastic song also. I'm interested in that. I'm really proud of this socialist conference where we're at in 2023. In 2015, I was trying to put on a socialist event. I was hanging out with some friends outside a bar, and this guy came up to us. He overheard us, and he started just yelling socialism is a pipe dream. Socialism can't happen in America. It's nonsense. People should not have to work hard for other people who are just layabouts and freeloading. And he just went on for that for 5 minutes, and then asked if he could bum a cigarette. Interesting. Wanted to form a little mutual aid group for his nicotine habits. But yeah, I mean, I think it is, though, important for socialists to be able to communicate with the political center. I think that's important. We kind of have to understand where our system is at. And when I do comedy and I bring up political material, I try to address that. I try to do a little chant to unite us at where we're at in this country. So I'll try to address both sides of the aisle. I will ask all the Republicans in the room. I know there are probably no Republicans in the room here tonight, but any Red Scare listeners here in the room tonight, I do hope they find the man that killed Glenn Greenwald's husband. I don't know who that could be. Anyway, I ask all the loyal Republicans in the room, loyal Republicans in the room, when I yell race war, I'd like you to give me a hearty, full-throated hell yeah, all right? And I'd like you to just close your eyes and imagine that minority group that you would like to commit a pogrom against, right? You know, it's you know, black, brown, we can go big tent, we can go Muslim, we can go religious minority, trans, it's a big tent they're supporting over there, very big tent. And then I address all my loyal Democrats, people loyal to the Democratic establishment in the audience, all my loyal Democrats. When I yell class war, I would like all of you to go, and class war can mean canceling student debt, it can mean Medicare for all, not just workers, right? And big tent on class war as well. When I yell class war, I would like all of you to go. Okay, yes, I see what you're doing. All right, it's very good. Okay. No. I don't often usually get them to chant that, but I try my best. I try to connect with them. But we got some good things going on. Anybody here involved in the Starbucks union organizing effort? I'm very much into that. I'm very excited for that. Back in the mid-2000s, my friends were smashing Starbucks windows, and now my friends have the whole shop. So I'm very excited for that. I've been dealing with this autoimmune kind of issue that's kind of put me out of commission for a while, but I was listening to a program and I heard Howard Schultz give an impassioned speech where he started to tear up and say he was fighting for goodness and love when he was fighting against these unions, and man, did that awake the slumbering lion in me, man. I was out there with my placard right away. I could hear the tears in his voice, and I just wanted to crank that spigot wide open, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I know, but people always thought Starbucks would never start unionizing because they're a good company, they're a progressive company that'll give you health care but cut their hours arbitrarily, so you're always at their mercy. All it took was that and too many orders of black tea lemonade with 24 pumps of mango to start a union movement that is making a billionaire cry. So I'm very proud of that for anyone who's involved in the Starbucks union efforts. Very excited for that. I do got to get out of here, but I know it's a tense time in our country. We've got a lot of people who are we've got bigots, we've got transphobes, we've got people who are trying to ban books, and it enrages a lot of us. But I think we do have to take the high ground. I always say to those people, each and every one of them are welcome at my table to eat my ass. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Arish, everybody. Hell yeah. I gotta say, you guys have been such a wonderful audience in a room that is like notoriously difficult to do stand-up comedy in. You've been so nice. Usually when you're doing stand-up comedy in a room like this, you're doing it at an event called a corporate, where an evil company has made you come dance like a monkey for their bored and angry employees. That is usually what this kind of room, like that's my sense memory of it when I've been in a situation like this. And they always want you to be like, can you like write some funny ribs of our boss or something, and it's horrible. But this is great, because it's like that, but you guys are like, can you write some funny ribs about the concept of bosses? It's dope. You guys are being so nice. Thank you so much. We have a few more comics left for you, but I'm going to hand over the reins of the show to my co-host, who's going to do a set for you and then bring up the rest of the comics. So guys, please give it up for the very funny Anders Lee!
Anders Lee here. I understand we have some northern New Jersey residents here tonight. Yeah? Where in North New Jersey? What city? What city? Jersey. Oh, Jersey City. Okay, yeah. Jersey. I used to work at a crouton factory in Jersey City. How about that? That's funny. Where are you from? The questions get harder. Yes. Chicago. Okay, I like Chicago. Give it up for Chicago. I gotta say, I've been to a couple places in the Midwest. I think Chicago has the best lettuce in the upper Midwest. You know what I mean? Go over to Wisconsin and it's soggy, frankly. But Chicago lettuce, it's crisp, but it's not like Detroit where it's, it's the right crispness level here in Chicago. Where are you from? Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay. I love the vinaigrette festival that they do there. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. This thing, it's legendary. They get all the vinaigrette distributors from the Great Lakes. They go to Ann Arbor. They do vin shots. It's a lot of fun. Where are you from? Chicago. I used to work at a crouton factory in Chicago. They say it's a small world. And where are you folks from? Oh, D.C.? Like Washington, D.C. Okay. Actually never been to Washington, D.C. I've heard about it. I've heard it's kind of a soup town. Yeah? I would know. I'm a salad guy. Thank you. Yeah. I am from Washington, D.C. I was born there. My dad is a voiceover artist. That's what he does. He does little ad reads and stuff, and it's a perfect job for him. He's one of these people who talks like this all the time. This is his natural speaking voice in day-to-day conversation. He's got he does these rooms like for granite sales conferences and stuff, like announces things. And I went to visit him a little while ago and he's gonna pick me up from the airport, and instead of being like, yeah, I'll pick you up at 12:30, he says, I will greet you at noon. Once we were watching some football and he got very upset, there's a fumble, and instead of swearing at the TV, he just gets up and he yells, this is not a well-oiled machine. The anti-drug talk was very awkward with him. Anybody get anti-drug talk growing up? Yeah, a couple people. I'm against the anti-drug talk. I don't think it works because drugs are very slang-based, right? And slang is very generationally specific. Doesn't always get passed down. So I did not understand some of the terms my dad was dropping when he tried to do the anti-drug talk. He's like, Anders, kids are gonna try and peer pressure you. They're gonna say things like, listen, Duke, you wanna rumble with the 5? You better know how to jive. Come on, cat, you won't get sick with a little pinch of that pixie brick. This dope's no joke, it'll take you to the moon. Gals and gents, they all will swoon. So roll up your sleeve and give that arm a slap. It'll take to a needle like a tree takes to sap. Dig it. It's like, I think they're just gonna ask if I wanna try weed, Dad. Has anybody been at like the bottom of a swimming pool? Yeah? You know, like okay, a couple people, all right. Relatable. You know, like the fan at the bottom of the swimming pool, that little like, this kind of feels like I'm yelling stand up into that fan. Just a little bit. But I can take it, it's all right. I technically have autism, which is very, thank you, you don't have to, but I'll take it. Anything I can get, I'll take. I say technically because I was diagnosed a long time ago when it meant something different, like today, it means you're good at math and stuff. I don't relate to that. I have like the 90s version of autism. Back then it just meant you were a kid who liked the taste of keys. Very different. Millennial and Zoomer autistic diagnosed people. Any Zoomers here? Any Zoomers here? Okay, I have a gift suggestion. If you ever have to give a millennial a gift, as a Zoomer, here's what you do. You tell the millennial that you don't remember 9/11 and that you really want to hear about it. You have to lie. But it really is our favorite thing to talk about. We love any chance we can talk about 9/11. I remember when it happened, I thought all the same stupid stuff everyone else thought. I thought Osama bin Laden was gonna like Home Alone style break into my house or something. But I had a great teacher who was like, what they're telling you is wrong. You should be nice to people from the Middle East. Don't be racist, Anders. And I took that very seriously. And I made it a point as a 10, 11-year-old boy to be nice to Muslims, especially at the airport. I made it a point to smile and wave to Muslims at the airport, which in retrospect, if you're a Muslim in 2002, there's probably nothing more terrifying than a stupid blonde child just going. Leave with this. I did live in D.C. for a couple years. Anybody from D.C.? Yeah, we got some D.C. Any other D.C. people? Okay. I went there. I was on a TV network, and I got laid off because the guy who funded the network that I was on decided to invade the Ukraine. Anyone else have that happen? It's an awkward situation. I was on Russian state media. There were pros and cons. There's a lot of stigma. I don't like Putin. But there were a lot of pros, too. Like, we got to say whatever we wanted. And I also, the best thing about working there is that sometimes Jesse Ventura would come into the office. All right. Highlight of my time at RT America was having to have him talk at me for hours on end. My first encounter with him, he was just wandering around the office asking if anyone was Catholic. He was governor of Minnesota for 4 years. One of those 4 years coincided with Columbine. Probably the worst person to be in charge of anything during Columbine. He told me that after that happened, he got a room of people together in the governor's mansion in Minnesota, and he made a proposal. This was Jesse Ventura's proposal. He said, I remember, I swear to God, he says, I propose that every public school in Minnesota get 2 janitors that are secretly Navy SEALs. These guys could shoot the wings off of a fly. And I remember asking him, I asked, Jesse, why 2? And I will never forget his response. He had to stop for a moment, and then he thought about it and said, people work better in pairs. Which I think is a great message for this conference, the power of collective action. Yeah, give it up for that. All right. Who's ready for your next comedian, huh? This guy is a double threat. He is a comedian from New Orleans. He is also a delegate from New Orleans. He's also, I cannot help but mention, he's also from St. Paul, Minnesota, my hometown. Nice round of applause for the one and only Benji Hoffman!
Lollapalooza, make some noise! Hell yeah, hell yeah. Give it up for Anders and Kath. This is awesome, this is awesome. I'm ultra excited to be here. So glad they let me trot on out here. What if I did this the rest of the set? You guys would be so mad at me. You guys would be so pissed at me. Don't do this. But every time I go anywhere in public, people yell at me. It's not because they're mad, it's just because people feel very inclined to just yell physical descriptions of me directly at me. Happens every time I go outside. It's always the same shit too. Like if it's like a cool old man, I always get like, oh, Zappa, fucking Zappa. Recently I was on a beach in Florida and this dude looks at me and he goes, Hull and Oates. I was like, I can't go for that. No, that's dumb, that's dumb. The best one I get way too frequently. I don't know if I like missed a meeting where everyone was talking about me or something, but I get this one all the time. Usually it's like a group of like cool teenagers who will see me from across the street and they'll just start like elbowing their friends and pointing directly at me and laughing, and they'll just go, huh, huh, huh. The 70s! That's not an adjective. That's just a whole decade. Dude looks like he's still pissed about Vietnam. Like, shouldn't we be? I think it was bad. It was a kerfuffle at least, for sure. Yeah. The truth is, I look like everyone here's mom's last fuck before their dad. Just like a beautiful night in 1978 for Joanne before she found her father, who provides. There's a lot of talk at this convention about like how this group can collectively fight against the far right, and it's something really important that we have to do. But it's hard because they could do so much shit we can't do. Do you guys remember January 6th? Dude, that day, I know everyone here had the same experience of me on January 6th, because we all like pay enough attention to politics to where all of our friends think we're really annoying. So like, I was just getting so many texts from my friends like, dude, you gotta check this out. Specifically, you gotta see what's going on. You for sure, something terrible is happening. The soul of our nation is under attack. Something terrible is happening. So I went to the news and I was like, all right, what's happening? And then the news was like, there's something horrible happening. The soul of our nation is under attack. There's a three-way fight at the Capitol between white supremacists, the United States Congress, and the police. And I was like, how is this bad? You just told me white supremacists, the cops, and Congress are fighting each other? That's like if your boss, your ex, and your landlord all had guns pointed at each other. Like, I think I'm rooting for the bullets on this one. Fucking, let her rip. Fuck all of you. You guys suck. I'm super glad they let me pop on here. It was like a last minute thing, so I'll just do one more before I get out. I gotta talk about this. It's cool being able to travel again. I got to go visit my 98-year-old grandma. She is still alive. Yeah. Out of sheer spite for the rest of the family. She's actually like literally, these are her final days here. She's surrounded by family, it's all good, but I had to tell this. it's crazy being around people that old, especially if they're super fucking mean their entire lives. I love my grandma, but she's so mean. So the last time I was hanging out with her, I was really trying to take everything in. You know what I mean? Like, this is my elder, this is grandma time, I don't get a whole lot of this. So we're up, we're chatting, we're asking a bunch of questions to each other. Eventually, we kind of run out of stuff, and she asked me about my tattoos. And she sees the tattoos on my arms, and she asked me about it. And I'm like, Grandma, I've had these for a long time, you must have forgotten, but hey, I have a new one that you've never seen before. So I lift up my shirt to show her the newest tattoo I have on my ribs. And like I said, she's mean. So when I did that, she goes, oh, I thought it was gonna be on your penis. And I was like, Grandma, no, I don't have a tattoo on my penis. And she goes, oh, not enough room? I was like, that's not what you were saying last night, Grandma. Shut up, that's my beautiful grandma. How dare you? How dare you? All right, thank you guys so much. I've been Maria Svart. Have a great night.
Keep it going for Benjamin Hoffman, everybody! All right, let's keep this show moving right along. This next comedian is a very funny dude from here in Chicago. Nice round of applause for Skyler Higley!
Hi. First of all, I think it's really cool that they decided to have a pro-Trump comedian on. That's great, diversity. That's incredible. A Republican comedian coming at the very end, here to tell you motherfuckers what's what. Business. My dad was Henry Ford. It's a fact. And you know what? I like everything Henry Ford had to say. You get it. No, I don't. But Trump, they gotta let him go. They gotta let him go. He didn't do anything wrong. It's from evil Joe Biden, who's drinking kids' blood. Okay, that's enough of that riff. I tried to write some socialist jokes over on the corner there. If your safe word is Karl Marx, you might be a democratic socialist. If you don't have a job and that counts as participating, all right, sorry. If your political ideology still exploits the global south, okay, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, I'm just playing. It's fun to have fun. I was trying to think of some kind of sex joke where I'm trying to find somebody from the holetariat. Okay, that's dumb. That's stupid. That's enough of that. Oh, okay. You're here? Okay. Hit me up. You can find me after the show. Anyway, let's get into the real shit. I wanted to start, because I never know how to start these things. This isn't normal of a thing to do. This is my whole job, and I'm like, I don't know. I think we should start off with a pledge if we can. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Y'all know how it goes. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't start with a pledge. That's weird, right? That we make kids do that? The Pledge of Allegiance? Pretty culty, huh? Pretty weird. American schools, they take kids and they go, hey, before you can learn any facts about the world, I'm gonna need you to swear to fucking God that you will never betray America. And as a kid, you're like, well, I'm 7, so I don't really know what the word indivisible means, but I'm gonna do whatever as long as I can get these fruit snacks. It's weird, such a weird, indoctrinating thing. Here's how weird it is that we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance as kids every single day. Imagine if you knew an adult who said the Pledge of Allegiance every single day. You'd be like, oh, you hate immigrants. That's your deal. That's what you do. Or you're something like a veteran and the only way you can justify the things you've done is to be really patriotic. And because really, what is patriotism aside from a form of Stockholm Syndrome? Anyway, y'all ever fuck a pussy so hard that it fart? Okay, sorry. It's a weird thing. You're a fun crowd. It's a good crowd of mostly white people. I feel like you can handle a lot. I don't like talking about politics most of the time. It's hard to talk about how I really feel because most people are not where I'm at. Most people won't agree with me about the fact that white people shouldn't be able to vote after they turn 60. Most people get scared. Minimum, maximum voting age. Whites only. This is a completely new thought, new joke. I haven't even finished it yet. I just feel like in lieu of reparations, because we're not going to get reparations, I should be able to steal and eat a rich white family's dog. That's how I feel. Again, not a joke, just something I've been saying. And most of the time people are like, oh. But sometimes, when I'm at the DSA, motherfuckers are, yeah. Okay, all right. We're never gonna be rich. Sorry. Oh, man. It is hard to talk about politics now. People get so upset. And I feel like it used to be easier because everybody used to have, like, you know, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. It was, who gives a fuck? It's the same thing. It's just white people. Now you can't talk. Now you bring up politics, people get really angry. I can't even tell anybody my real opinions anymore. Now when I'm talking about politics, I have to like give like the most broad, like, okay, here are my two political opinions I'll say out loud to most groups of people, right? First, I think Congress and the Supreme Court should have term limits, all right? That's one. Secondly, and you'll like this one too, I feel like the president should be a magician. Those are my two. Why is the president always just some regular fucking guy? Joe? Who's Joe? I'm not impressed, bro. How you gonna tell me what's best for the country? You can't even tell me what card I'm thinking of, nigga. So many regular dudes. Joe, Bill, George, Lil George. Where is our president Mysterion? Who, he'd be at the press conference, right? We'd be like grilling him, right? We'd be like, Mr. President, you said you'd have a plan to curb inflation by now. Now, where is that plan? He's just like, check your back pocket. It should be required, bro. If you're even gonna run, you gotta be a magician. Because we're just missing out on stuff at this point. Like, Lincoln's hat was big enough to fit a rabbit. He never pulled one out. That's bullshit. And then when the bad stuff happens, it's not so bad, right? Like JFK gets shot in the head, his head explodes, but then a bunch of doves come out. We're like, yo! Wow! Jackie's covered in blood. She's like, ta-da! And everybody's like wondering if there is a second shooter, but we'll never know because a magician never reveals his secrets. Oh, man. That's a fun one. Thank you. Any racists in the crowd? Oh, there's a woo. I got it. I'm not racist. I don't judge people based on the color of their skin. That said, I do hate the Blue Man Group. I mean it, dude. I think they're dirty. I think they're loud. I want them out of my country. You get it. I'm serious. I go up there and they like perform and they like never talk. I'm like, oh, this is America, learn the language, you know? Bald, they're blue, they look like blueberry skinheads. I don't like them. And I know we gotta do something about the police, because if I was a cop and I saw a blue man just on the street, on sight, I would shoot him. I would, bro. I would shoot a blue man on the street, on sight. Blue lives matter, not on my watch. Okay. Sure. Not the same thing. I'm actually very pro-cop. Like I said, Republican, Trump, it's fine. Okay, one more little story and then I'll get out of here. Don't get mad, I was at a Starbucks recently because I hate good coffee. And I was just like sitting there, I was writing on my laptop, right? There's a black man sitting to my right, he was minding his own business. He was writing on his laptop. There was a white woman sitting across from us. She was writing on her lap, but she had that moment where you have to pee, right? You gotta ask somebody to watch your stuff. You become like a little lord of your things, right? You get up, you look around, you go, who among these strangers is worthy to guard my laptop? And so she did that. She stands up, looks at me. For a long time, she looks at me. You already know where this is going. Looks at the black man sitting to my right, then makes a choice to turn around and ask another white person sitting way further away than us. Like way further. It was at least 5 steps. I was like, you could have just... She could watch her laptop. And this person right away, I could tell she was in the DSA. She didn't want to say yes. She was immediately like, oh no, but I guess it's either this or recite a Maya Angelou poem, so I guess I'll say yes. First woman goes to the bathroom. We're just sitting there in that like strange sort of like racial tension. I'm like, damn. So she just assumed black, that we were gonna steal her laptop because we were black. That's crazy. Like, I'm not gonna steal her laptop because I'm black. I'm not gonna steal her laptop because I already have my laptop with me. I don't wanna carry 2 laptops. It's gonna be a whole... So, I'm getting mad. I'm like, I know what to do. I have an idea, right? I'm gonna teach everybody a lesson right now. So I'm getting mad, I got a stew about it. She's taking a long time in the bathroom, and for a second I'm like, is she constipated? Holy shit. But then I'm like, no, fuck her. She should be constipated. But then I had to waste time, right? I had to just fill the time because I wanted to keep myself in that space. So I just decided to, fill the time by texting my friend. I text my friend, hey, you ever notice that the Spy Kids from Spy Kids are pretty much child soldiers? And they were, bro. What was that movie about? It's like trying to tell us that spies are cool. Also, by the way, Spy Kids came out in 2001, same year as the Patriot Act. Coincidence? All I'm saying is, George Bush did Spy Kids. So, I text my friend that. My friend texts me back, Skyler, we're broken up. I told you not to text me anymore. Whatever. This woman comes back from the bathroom, sits back down in front of her laptop. That's when I stand up, in front of my laptop. And I make eye contact with her, same way she did with me, right? And the moment we make eye contact, the second we make eye contact, I turn to the black man to my right, I go, hey, brother. Hey, my fellow black melanated brother, out here overcoming the chains of oppression to shine like the diamonds of Mother Africa. Brother, I ask you, nay, I beseech you, brother. Brother, you are being beseeched right now. If you, as well as our ancestors, could turn a watchful Negronic eye towards my laptop. Because as we all know, there are some white devils out here that would like to steal our property the same way they stole our people as property all those years ago. What do you say, brother? And assalamu alaikum, by the way. And now I just put this man on the spot, right? Thinking about it, I'm like, wait, did he even see what was going on? Like, I might have just thrown a Black Panther surprise party on this dude. But he did it. He played along perfectly. He didn't say anything. He just put his fist up. Right? All right, I've been Skyler Higley. You guys have been great. Bye, 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 bye.
Give it up for Skyler, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys have been such a wonderful audience. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Do you guys like unions? Yeah? Do you wanna hear from a union member? Yeah? All right, we have a special guest who's gonna talk to us about some very exciting stuff. Please give it up for Scott Haldison of the United Auto Workers! He made it!
What a recovery. Keep it going for that academic.
That's what us old guys do. You know, I'm in the age range that can't vote anymore, right? Skyler? Yeah, Skyler.
Look, you voted the right way the whole time you were allowed. You did your part. Congrats. So we're just gonna have a little Q&A with Scott about some really exciting stuff United Auto Workers is up to. You guys cool with that? Interested in that stuff? Yeah. So thank you. Welcome to WTF with Kath Barbadoro. My first question, who are your guys? Top 3, bottom 3 trade unionists. Who you got?
My guys?
Your guys.
Do they have to be guys?
I mean,
Is that fair? Is that fair? Do they really have to be guys?
it's a really good point. I hadn't thought about it that way. I need to talk to Mark Maron immediately.
Okay, well, I mean, there's a lot of guys, right, in the unions and over the course of the history of unions. So I'll keep it contemporary. My top guys are Sean, and Sarah. Woo! Sean Fain, Sean O'Brien, and Sarah Nelson.
SSS. And we also wanted to know, like, how you got involved in the labor movement, when you first joined a union, and what it means to you.
Just skip the other part. The bottom
Oh,
guy.
the bottom 3.
The
Who are your
bottom
least
guys.
favorite?
The
trade unionists?
boo!
Yeah. Let's hear them.
Okay, the bottom ones are Gary, Dennis, and Junior. So we got Gary Jones, the last president of the UAW that went to federal prison. And the guy that taught him the ropes, Dennis Williams, the president before him that went to federal prison. And Jimmy Hoffa Jr. didn't go to prison, but we know what he did to the Teamsters.
I'm going to throw Elia Kazan on that pile myself. Yeah. And let's pretend I didn't already ask this question, but Scott, how did you become a union member, and what does it mean to you to be part of the labor movement?
Well, I became a union member the easy way. I got hired into a company that was unionized already. It was easy. It was really easy. Some of my union brethren, my union siblings, family, for instance at Harvard or Columbia, they had to do it the hard way. They had to fight not only the school, but also the government to try and get them recognized to be union members, and they fought their asses off to win a union in the UAW. And my hats are off to the academic workers in the UAW. They've really energized the labor movement, so give them a round of applause. Yeah.
So our next question is, we're wondering what you think of the tentative agreement between the Teamsters and UPS, and how does that affect your work with UAW?
Well, the Teamsters have been an inspiration for us. They've shown us the way. I kind of had a reform caucus in the UAW, and we took a lot of inspiration from Teamsters for a Democratic Union. And watching them prepare for this contract with the practice pickets, the parking lot meetings, the awareness that they brought with to their membership, but also to the community, has been an inspiration to us as we start building for our contract, which happens to expire the middle of September this year. So I would leave it for the Teamsters to decide whether they like their contract or not. But I know one thing, the preparation that they did leading up to their contract gave them a better contract than they would have got without while sitting on their hands.
Well, that brings us to our next question, kind of a spicy question. As a lot of people here are union members, round of applause for your union. Yeah. But also many DSA members, myself included, are not union members. And, future union members, I should say. We will be in a union one day, yes. But until that day comes, how do we have solidarity with people who are in labor struggles? And more specifically, how if there's something that socialists don't like about union leadership, how do we express that and engage with that without being annoying?
Ooh, I get two questions at once. Let me see if I can remember them. I am old. So the way that socialists can help with the labor movement is keep doing what you've been doing. DSA has been a real help to our organizing in UAWD, Unite All Workers for Democracy. There seems to be a rhythm to that, a rhyme to it. So keep doing what you've been doing. Show up to the picket lines. When there's practice pickets, even before there's real pickets, show up and help us out and just be supportive of us. That's what you've been doing for us in UAWD all along since we formed UAWD, probably even before we formed UAWD. And the other question?
How do we not be annoying?
How do you challenge leadership without being overbearing? Well, I would say that as union members, we often disagree with our leadership. It's very common. As a husband, I often disagree with my wife, right? But we manage to make it work. So, you have to be able to disagree and talk it through. But one thing I would advise against is trying to destroy the labor movement like WSWS does. Be reasonable and have your exchange of ideas without trying to say that the union is a sellout in every contract that they ever negotiated from here to the end of end of time.
Mini bonus question. Would you like the DSA's help in settling disagreements with your wife? Is that?
No, I think we're doing that just fine.
Good. Glad to hear it. You were talking about union leadership, and you mentioned earlier Sean Fain, the new UAW leader, not to be confused with the Irish Republican Party. A very cool name for a union leader. But yeah, can you tell us about what that change in leadership has been like, and what kind of stuff are you doing that DSA can help with kind of in the near future?
So, Sean has created a paradigm shift in the UAW. We went from going into contract negotiations with, hey, come and vote for a strike just in case we can't come to an agreement. And we're not going to tell you what we're negotiating. You can tell us what you want, but we're not going to tell you if we put it on the table. We went from that to having the president of our international union go on Facebook Live with us, having a conversation with us, telling us that our demands have been put on the table and showing us the book that has the demands that we asked for to go on the table to fight for it. Now I gotta be honest with you, UAW members are not used to that. And it's really taken a lot of our members that were in the entrenched caucus a long time to try and wrap their head around this strategy of actually having members involved in the fight for their rights at the job. Usually they just want to do it all for us. And we've gotten screwed really bad for the last 20 years doing it that way. So this is so refreshing to have Sean Fain actually interacting with the members, taking our demands to the bargaining table instead of his demands to the bargaining table. And you know, the last time we were at the bargaining table in 2019, the guy that was the head of the union, Gary Jones, he got there by bribing the guy before him to have the job. And some of the vice presidents were taking bribes from the companies to get them better contracts than they got for us. So this is a whole sea change for the UAW, and it's very refreshing.
All right. And our last question, I happen to know some people who are interested in joining UAW, but they're in kind of a unique situation. They have a workplace, their job is to fight Decepticons, and they don't know if they can join because they are workers, but they are also automobiles. They are transformers, and I just want to know, are transformers UAW eligible?
No, you have to be a human to join the union. Although if we were able to bring machines into the union, we would have a much higher membership now because of all the robots that the companies have put in place of actual humans. So, yeah, it's kind of the company's dream to have the Transformers and the RoboCops take over in the UAW or in the factories, so that they don't need to deal with the UAW, and especially Sean Fain, right? Yeah, that's the company's wet dream is to have the Transformers and the RoboCops running the factories. So no, they're not eligible for union membership.
Fortunately, I believe the Transformers are in SAG, so they are on strike right now. So we offer them our solidarity that way. Guys, thank you so much. Scott Holson, everybody, here to tell us about UAW. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much to all of you. He's gonna not trip. He's gonna get it. Give it up for Scott. I literally didn't even see those stairs until right now. So yeah, thank you so much for coming to the Paid Protest DSA National Convention Edition.